There was a really tense moment on Capitol Hill when Congressman Thomas Massie appeared to catch Attorney General Merrick Garland in a lie.
Peter Navarro was indicted for contempt of Congress. Aren't you, in fact, in contempt of Congress when you give us this answer? This is an answer that's appropriate at a press conference. It's not an answer that's appropriate when we are asking questions. We are the committee that is responsible for your creation, for your existence of your department. You cannot continue to give us these answers. Aren't you, in fact, in contempt of Congress when you refuse to answer?
Congressman, I have the greatest respect for Congress. I also have the greatest respect for the Constitution and laws of the United States. The protection of pending investigations and ongoing investigations, as I briefly discussed in another dialogue a few moments ago, goes back to the separation of powers, which gives to the executive branch the sole authority to conduct prosecutions. It's a requirement of due process and respect for those who are under investigation, the protection of their civil rights.
Well, with all due respect to that, Iran-Contra was an ongoing investigation, and that didn't stop Congress from getting the answers. And you're getting in the way of our constitutional duty. You're citing the Constitution. I'm going to cite it. It's our constitutional duty to do oversight. Now, in that video, that was your answer to a question to me 2 years ago when I said how many agents or assets of the government were present on January 5th and January 6th and agitating in the crowd to go into the Capitol and how many went into the Capitol. Can you answer that now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, last time you don't know how many there were or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again, that you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter. I think what I said the last time.
You've had 2 years to find out. And the day, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps, and yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You've got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor? The American public isn't buying it.
All right, first about that very important point that Congressman Massie of Kentucky made about Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, possibly perjuring himself. See, it appears that in the past, he had acknowledged tacitly that there were FBI agents in the crowd. He just didn't know how many. But did you catch the difference, the nuance there, where now he says that he doesn't have any personal knowledge if there were any at all? Now, both can't be true. And this whole idea of him not having any personal knowledge about whether there were FBI agents and if so, how many, is kind of laughable because, well, this was 2 years ago and he's the Attorney General. And he keeps boasting about the fact that this is the most expensive and extensive investigation the Justice Department has ever manned. And it's true, they've arrested over 1,000 people associated with January 6th, and not once over the course of this entire investigation, one that's so important to him and to this administration and, frankly, to the future of our democracy, not once did he actually find out for himself whether FBI agents and informants were involved. That can't be true. And finally, I think we all appreciate Congressman Massie's passion with regard to this issue. It is critically important. It's something that stirs emotions in all of us. His passion was on display there, and you saw it, and it was great. I guess the question here is, why doesn't Merrick Garland seem to care?